part of the reason we wanted to talk about disappointment today is maybe it was kind of a letdown after a birthday trip my husband and I took, which was so fun. We went up to the gorge, Columbia River Gorge. I just didn't have any energy really, was confused, fine-tuned it down to the topic of disappointment, and realized that another time where I felt disappointed, speaking of gut issues and health issues and whatnot, I was reminded of when I discovered I had Lyme disease. You know, the old law of attraction where you think and you visualize and you put pictures on a board and think it and it will happen. So fill in your story, but if you've had an experience where you've wanted a result, and it didn't happen right away, or even it still hasn't happened, my story of Lyme came to me. I mean, health wasn't even on my vision board. I already had it. I took it for granted. And then I got bitten by this tick. And the extreme pain, immobilization, really, I only felt okay if I didn't move. But it was a real affront, and it was not what my picture was supposed to look like. It wasn't what my ego wanted, let me tell you. I mean, I was extremely afraid of being in that much pain. And then the pain pills stopped working. And so I was faced with being with it. There was no other choice. And in that process of facing it, really having no choice, it was, in hindsight, the perfect lesson for me, because what happened was some level of grace came in and said, well, if this is in fact going to be your life, maybe it's going to be this way for the rest of your life, because Western medicine and a lot of naturopathic folks did not have any answers. The question that came to me was, what could I still do if I was going to keep living and not get better and not die? What could I still do? And the answer that came to me was I still had a voice. I could still help clients on the phone with a headset. And that was pretty amazing breakthrough for me. Also, what that all did was help me break through a lot of fear. And it helped me turn from my egoic wishes to that opening of what the soul wanted, what the soul lesson was. And what I got was, I was getting to that place where everything else could be very limited, but it was the birthplace of my soul opening into that acceptance you were talking about, Laura, into still being of service, into facing the pain. And as I faced it, it started to dissipate. Although it was disappointing that my health started to leave, it opened me to the much bigger picture of what the body can deal with. And yet the birth of the soul started to come forth. And in the facing of all those things, my body started to get better. And there was definitely Qigong involved. Laura took me through a lot of tapping. So I know that the energy work is probably the most important avenue to take, and good nutrition too. But if you don't get to the deepest learning, it could linger. The problem can linger. So I think also knowing now, another piece would be just lastly, knowing that, especially as empaths, we soak up a lot of other people's pain or frustrations, etc. And so what started to happen was I would look at past relationships that I hadn't healed And I think because of this web of how I'm connected to all those other people, I started to cleanse that pathway, that connection, and all of it came together, and I'm in better shape than I've ever been, completely healed and happy most of the time. So just want to say how important Qigong is and how important tapping is, and connection, supporting each other like we are. It's the way, it's the path through, in my mind.
It's really beautiful.